Welcome to the Instagram stories for Monday, January 24th. You know what we do on Mondays. Let's get into what the head of Instagram, Adam Mosseri, shared on his Ask Me Anything story. By the way, he does them on Thursdays now, just to confuse things a little bit more. It used to be on Friday, now it's on Thursday. Doesn't matter. I got the clips anyway. Let's get into it. The first question I want to get into is one that we haven't talked about in a while that has to do with being verified. If you're not familiar, being verified means you have the blue check mark on your account. It's typically done for famous or influential people who might have multiple accounts that imitate them. And so the blue check mark helps to verify which is the real, authentic account. Okay, the question, what are tips to get a business account verified? Here's his answer.
So when we try to verify someone, we're looking for their notability. And so what we look at is how much press there is about that individual. So the best thing you can do is make sure you've got some press about you and add links to your application when you apply to be verified in the app.
I've talked about this before, but if there has been any news coverage on you whatsoever, make sure you're bookmarking those links so you can put them into the verification application when you submit it. Next question. If you could change one thing about Instagram right now, what would it be? I have to think actually what I would change, but you could probably guess Adam Mosseri's answer. Here it is.
Probably consolidate all the video formats so that there aren't so many different ways of sharing videos. But we're actively working on that. It's going to take a little bit of time. So keep your eyes out.
If I could think of one thing that Instagram should do, I would say the way they have the ability to post to Facebook and Twitter at the same time you post to your feed, they should have the ability to post a TikTok the same time as you post a reel. Now that would mean that everyone automatically started out on Instagram and they might forget to check that box to post it to TikTok. I know I forget to post my Instagram post to Twitter. Just an idea. I don't run Instagram or work there, so probably no one's going to take me up on that idea. Next question, and I love number one, the audacity of this question, and number two, that he answered it. Question, none of my friends use Instagram anymore, so why should I? I think this is great. Probably this person's friends are all on WhatsApp or Snapchat or something else, maybe TikTok, but here's his answer.
Well, we only want you to use Instagram if you find it valuable, but in general, we tend to see people use Instagram for two reasons. One is to discover things around their interests, often through the eyes of creators, and then the other is to connect with friends. And so it's our job to try to connect you with both.
It's a good answer, but honestly, I think a big part of this conversation has to do with where all of your friends are having conversations already, whether it's in iMessage or Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp. I would say that the majority of my friends, although they may be on Instagram, use DMs only for responding to stories or something else similar, but most of the conversations, for instance, for planning and other things, are going to happen likely through text message. That's just my circle of friends. It's definitely different in certain parts of the world, but the reason someone might use Instagram for these kinds of conversations is not so much dependent on what they want as the style and way of communicating between most of their friends. I think that's the biggest deciding factor. Next question, and it's going to be the last one I'll do for today. Why are you adding so much stuff? Instagram used to be simple. I'm going to pause right there and say that from a product manager perspective, which is my regular 9-to-5 day job, I work to add features and services to apps and websites. I work with developers. Adding things for the sake of adding things is not good. However, to stay part of the cultural and relevant conversation and stay in the news cycle, I do see the pressure that Instagram has to face and continue to add features to keep people interested. However, simplicity at the end of the day is the most important thing. Just because you added a feature, so what? If not a lot of people use it, guides, what difference does it make that you added it? Anyway, here's his answer.
We add things because the biggest risk we face is that the world changes around us and we don't adapt quickly enough. Now, I agree we've added too much over time and we need to simplify, which is why simplifying Instagram is a real focus of ours in 2022. So more to come on that.
Okay, that's going to do it for today's episode. If you could do me a favor, if you listen to this on your Amazon smart speaker, only if you listen to this on your Amazon smart speaker, can you please go to Amazon.com, search for the Instagram stories flash briefing and leave a review for me. I would really appreciate it. I have 60 reviews there and I've been stuck at 60 for a really long time. If you like this content, you listen on your Amazon smart speaker, please go on amazon.com or amazon.co.uk and leave a review. I would really appreciate it. Be sure to come back tomorrow for more Instagram news.
I'm not yet a member of the Instagram team, but my podcast covers many Instagram themes. But the name, image, logos are trademarks of Instagram and the LCC in the USA and every territory. Everything I publish independently. Until they let me run my team and start to pay my salary. Not sponsored or endorsed, no lies, no fallacy. I use their logo with permission, not malicious or callously. No trademark violation, filling all criteria. Follow me on Instagram or Twitter at Daniel Hill Media.